Welcome to Fan Fave with Katrina. Fan Fave with Katrina. It's time to talk pop culture.
It's a great day because you're listening to Fan Fave. Welcome back. I'm your host Katrina, and you guys, fall is approaching. I'm starting to really reminisce on my favorite memories of the summer. And back in June, I went on a graduation trip to Orlando and went to Disney World, of course. That's the most interesting thing down there to do, in my opinion. But anyways, they have this outdoor shopping and entertainment center called Disney Springs. And I've gone there a ton over the years, but there are these two specific restaurants that I absolutely adore there. Those are T-Rex Cafe and Rainforest Cafe. Now, these are considered to be themed entertainment restaurants, and that's what I want to talk about today. But first, let's do a quick pop recap to discuss all the favorite entertainment things that I just have not been able to get enough of since the last time I have spoken to you all on this podcast. So first up in music, Olivia Rodrigo, she released her sophomore album, Guts. This was the follow-up to her iconic, amazing, never to be forgotten, 7-time Grammy-nominated, 3-time winning debut album, Sour. I think sometimes it can be really hard to live up to a previously successful project, but Olivia does not disappoint. The singles alone on Guts are just absolutely fantastic. You have Vampire, which kind of feels like Driver's License to me. It just gives off the same energy and makes me feel the same way I did when I heard Driver's License for the same time. And then you have Bad Idea Right, which I personally love. I know it has had somewhat of mixed emotions or mixed reviews on social media among the fans because it has somewhat of a different sound, but I just think that it's so much fun. I mean, how could you not like it? But overall, Guts is a super cohesive and fun pop rock album. One thing that's been on my mind about this album is this feeling of nostalgia that comes with it. Olivia has always been known for making relatable music for the teen population, but she just perfectly encapsulates the feeling of growing up. She has this one song that closes the album actually called Teenage Dream. I thought this song was going to be a fun, upbeat song, maybe an ode to Katy Perry's song Teenage Dream, but it's actually very devastating. The lyrics are so devastating. It's all about growing up and time going by, and a lot of people my age, they joke about feeling like a teenager in their 20s, but that's so real. I always have people in my family or adults coming up to me how old are you now? And I'm always 17, 18. No, I'm 22. It's so weird. These past few years have just been such a blur, and I feel like time is going by so fast. And Olivia Rodrigo, she perfectly shows this kind of emotion in the lyrics of her songs. But for those that love the Guts album, pretty exciting news. Olivia announced she's going on a world tour. And guys, I just think it's so insane because she's playing 4 nights at Madison Square Garden and the Forum and the O2. And I just think it's so insane for her to have this kind of demand. I mean, this is just her second tour. Unbelievable. I am a little nervous about the on sale though. I didn't get tickets to the Sour tour because I didn't get verified fan and never even got the chance to try. She played Radio City and I was literally in New York City then and really wanted to go, but Ticketmaster, they said no. It's fine though because this time I'm going to get tickets. I believe in it, and guys, I'm finna be in the pit. I have to be. These albums just feel like the types of albums where you're jumping around in the pit with all of your friends. And Olivia's pit also doesn't seem to be too big according to the seat maps on Ticketmaster. So yeah, I need to be there. One thing I already love about Olivia's Guts tour is that she's introducing this concept of silver star tickets. It really feels exactly like what I was talking about on the concerts episode from a few weeks back when I said artists should start doing almost like a lottery for cheaper tickets. Basically, Olivia is going to be selling a limited number of tickets to each show for $20, available at a later date. And then you won't know where your seats are until you pick up your tickets the day of the show. I just think this is a great way to help fans who may not be able to afford the more expensive seats still get a chance to see the show. It really just shows that Olivia cares about her fans because she very easily could have sold these seats for the normal price. It's going to sell out regardless, but by setting aside some cheaper tickets, it's clear that she really does care about having her shows be accessible to all fans. So mad respect for that. Also in music, the VMAs happened. I have a lot of thoughts about the show this year. I feel like the show had its shining moments, but some of it played off very weird. I don't know, like having Lil Wayne open the show, but then transition right into Olivia Rodrigo. I was just talking to some of my friends about it, and they agreed that it was a little bit of whiplash in a way. I just wish the segments were more cohesive. Some pretty big moments if you didn't tune in though. Nicki Minaj hosted and sang new music off her upcoming album, Pink Friday 2. They also celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip hop. That was the big finale of the show with Nicki, Dougie Fresh, Lil Wayne, Lil Cool and more. NSYNC also reunited, and Shakira received the Video Vanguard Award with a very dance heavy performance that included an interesting crowd surf moment. My favorite performance of the night, those included Demi Lovato, who came with the vocals for a mashup of Heart Attack, Sorry Not Sorry, and Cool for the Summer, the rock versions. And side note, Revamped is out now and on repeat. I also really love Sabrina Carpenter, who performed in the pre-show. Diddy's performance was great. Renee Rapp, and also Olivia Rodrigo, who had me fooled for a second. I actually thought something was going wrong during her performance at first, but then I realized she was just doing the vampire music video. But, anyways, to me, Taylor Swift was actually one of the most entertaining parts of the show, and she didn't even perform. The cameraman and the directors truly just made it a point to put the camera on Taylor at least once during every single performance. And she was everywhere, giving the energy and dancing like she's known to at literally every award show she goes to. And to be honest, as she should, she's successful, thriving, and having a great time supporting other artists. If you did watch the VMAs though, let me know what your favorite performance was. I want to hear from you. In the Broadway world, I have one thing in specific that I want to talk about. There's this new show that announced it's coming to Broadway since we last spoke, Water for Elephants. It's opening in the spring, and it previously had an out of town trial in Atlanta. It's based off of a book that also has a movie that I have not seen, but with my first look at the trailer, my immediate thought was, oh, so the Greatest Showman musical did make it out of development jail. I mean, it's not the Greatest Showman, but it literally looks so much like it. It's about circus performers in the 1930s, so maybe that's what they have in common, but this show actually has been in development for 8 years. I'm so excited for this though because it looks like a huge spectacle, and that's what I love the most on Broadway. Very big spectacles. Its budget is also reportedly $25 million, so it's even in the running to be the biggest budget production of this Broadway season. But yeah, I cannot wait to see this. From what I've seen, the Atlanta production got really, really great reviews. The cast has not yet been announced, but check out their promo video on Instagram because there are some crazy cool stunts and effects on display there. It looks absolutely magical. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is this Destination D23 event that happened. I guess a fun fact about me is I'm a huge fan of Disney parks. I've been to Disney World 7 times, and I actually used to want to be an Imagineer. I just love the idea of creating ride concepts. At Destination D23 last week, Disney announced a bunch of new attractions coming to the Walt Disney World Resort. They're working on a potential reimagining of Dinoland USA and Animal Kingdom, which in my opinion is something that desperately needed to be done there. But they are thinking about replacing it with this Tropical Americas setup, which would be Encanto and Indiana Jones. And as a Disney Parks fan, I feel like lately some of their new attractions have felt a little bit misplaced, and I think Encanto was one of them. Don't get me wrong, the illustrations for it look amazing, but I think it would be better fit in either Magic Kingdom or Epcot's World Pavilion. Indiana Jones, on the other hand, I do think fits well and would be a great addition. Also coming to Animal Kingdom, they're finally getting rid of the creepy crawly Bugs Life show in the Tree of Life, and they're replacing it with a Zootopia show. I think this is a perfect fit, and it's nice to see them rework successful projects into the parks. They're also going to be opening a new Pirates of the Caribbean lounge in Magic Kingdom, which I think is going to be so cool because it's an extension of the ride, and that's one of my favorite rides in the whole park. And then Disney teased an expansion of Magic Kingdom as a whole, which they did not go into detail with, but they said they're adding a whole new land with new attractions, restaurants, shows, and more. So I just cannot wait to see the parks grow because I have my favorite characters and movies that I want to see more of in the park. And I also just love seeing new developments and older attractions like Haunted Mansion and Test Track get new updates to really keep the parks fresh and make people want to come back for more. In the film and television world, we still have the ongoing SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild of America strikes, and I just really think it's unfortunate this is going on for so long. But as someone who wants to further my career in writing and producing for entertainment, I'm happy to see how resilient members of the union are to fight for a better future for this industry. I fully support the writers and actors on strike, and if you do too, you can donate to support those out of work with the Entertainment Community Fund, which helps support Hollywood employees and crew who are suffering hardship due to the strike. Just head to entertainmentcommunity.org for more information. There's also a snacks and supplies fund that you can donate to for strikers on the picket line, and you can find more information on that at actionnetwork.org. It's called the Snack List. But something new I want to talk about, there's a celebrity auction happening on eBay right now, which is financially above me now, but everything is up to thousands of dollars, and it's hosted by the Union Solidarity Coalition to help fund crew members who have lost their health insurance during the strikes, and they're offering some pretty fun celebrity experiences. So I just wanted to read through some of my favorites. Included in this eBay auction, Natasha Leone will help you solve the New York Times crossword puzzle, which is currently going for $5,100 at the time of recording this episode. We also have on here Adam Scott, who will walk your dog for an hour. And guess you can join him and chat along your stroll. That'll be $2,500. Bob Odenkirk and David Cross will join you for dinner. And guys, that one is going for $10,000. Okay, so this one sounds a little weird, but Charlie Day and Mary Elizabeth Ellis will host an exquisite corpse drawing Zoom where they will each draw one part of the picture with you, and then you'll be able to put the pieces together for one nice, beautiful artwork. And then there's this item that I personally really, really want. They have a script of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure signed by Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. I need it. This is such a genius way, though, to raise money for the crew members who are out of work, though, and it's nice to see all the actors, writers, and other creatives willing to pitch in and do these really cool experiences. If you have that kind of money, check it out on eBay, as it's all for a great cause. But if you don't have the thousands of dollars to shell out like me, it's still fun to look at, and the internet definitely agrees because this auction has sparked so many memes on social media. Basically, the template that everyone is doing right now is photoshopping wacky celebrity experiences onto the eBay site, similar to the ones happening with the auction. So now, for a little laugh, I'm going to read through some of my personal favorites that I've seen. 20 minutes of awkward silence via Zoom with Bill Hader. Jonathan Groff performs Bohemian Rhapsody during your labor, which, if you understand this reference, you may be entitled to financial compensation yourself. Beyonce will tell you who Becky with the good hair was, and Solange will reveal what happened on that elevator. Timothy Chalamet will sing statistics to you, and this is where it gets really wacky. Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal will play fight in their Moon Knight and Mandalorian costumes at your apartment. Dr. Bridget Mendler will perform her own PhD thesis to the melody of Determinate and review your resume with you. And for the two that I saw that I would definitely pay for if it were real and I had the money, Paul Rudd will set up a clip from a new project and then show you Mac and Me instead. Like, that's the funniest running joke ever. And then the other one is that Florence Pugh will tell you what happened on the set of Don't Worry, Darling over brunch. We have to know. So my last pop recap thing, sports, something I don't usually talk about yet occasionally follow, and there are two big sports stories going on right now, so I just have to talk about it. First off, Coco Gauff. She's 19 years old and just won her first Grand Slam title at the US Open. She's the youngest American and first teenager to win this title in 24 years. This was since 1999 when Serena Williams won, so that's a huge deal. Congratulations to her. The other big sports event happening right now is happening over in Colorado with Deion Sanders. Now, Deion Sanders, he's known for being one of the greatest cornerbacks in NFL history. He played in the NFL for 14 seasons, but he also played baseball, and he's the only athlete to get a home run in the MLB and a touchdown in the NFL in the same week. So he's a pretty big deal, and now since he's retired, he's been working as a coach, which he started doing at the HBCU, Jackson State University. And he's like turned that team around. Like, he got them their first undefeated regular season in school history, and even got the #1 overall 2022 recruit, Travis Hunter, to join their team. But now he's left to go to University of Colorado as a coach, and he completely switched over the people on that team. Like he brought on 86 new players. He's got both his sons with him on the team, several players that he brought with him from Jacksonville State, like Travis Hunter. So he means business because this Colorado team last year, they only won one game. They were struggling to fill the stands because nobody wanted to see them play. But now, since Deion Sanders has gone over to Colorado, everyone is watching. They just played and won their third game for the season over the weekend, and they're undefeated. So this was just a really cool story, and this game over the weekend had such high energy. Like The Rock was in their locker room hyping the team up, and so many celebrities came to watch and cheer them on because no one else would think to go to Colorado. I mean, really, they're the hottest ticket in the country now. Lil Wayne even introduced them and brought them out on the field. So, like, this is crazy because they're such an underdog team. I can't wait to see what they do this season. If you're following this story, let me know. I feel drawn to wanting to go check out a game in person, but unfortunately, they only play on the West Coast, so it probably won't be happening for me this season. But it's not like I could get a ticket if I wanted to, anyways. They've already sold out for the season. But, anyways, let's get into the topic for today. You guys, I love themed entertainment restaurants. I would rather eat in a restaurant with a silly concept and mid food over an upscale fancy restaurant that likely has mid food too. But is it just me, or there's nothing like eating a classic American burger in a room with singing animatronics? We just need fun like that. These places are like the essence of a good childhood. Now, the world of themed entertainment restaurants is very rich and something I'm definitely interested in diving into a lot on this podcast. So, today we're just going to be focused on Rainforest Cafe and T Rex Cafe, which are both under Landry's restaurants. So, I consider themed entertainment restaurants to be pretty much anything that has a concept outside of just a certain cuisine, something that gives you, as the customer, an immersive experience overall. These sort of themed restaurants in general, they really truly peaked in the 90s. That's when most of them were actually created. And I think that they truly only thrive now in tourism heavy areas like Vegas, Los Angeles, maybe New York City, and obviously places like Disney World. And then I feel like if it's not in a big tourist city, they're at least in touristy places in the smaller cities. Like, for example, Nashville has themed entertainment restaurants in their Grand Ole Opry Mall, which is like a big tourist area. Now, Landry's, the company that owns Rainforest Cafe, they're a pretty big owner of a variety of themed entertainment restaurants that they have bought and acquired over the years. They actually own over 600 different restaurants, hotels, casinos, and other entertainment facilities across the country, so they're a pretty big deal. They actually have a mix of fine dining locations and these sort of themed entertainment restaurants that include Rainforest Cafe and T Rex Cafe. Some of the other restaurants that you may have heard of that they own include Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, Joe's Crab Shack, and on the fine dining side, they have Del Frisco's and several other steakhouses. But as I said, these are all restaurants that they acquired. Before the large corporation of Landry's, these restaurants had their starts in more humble places, like a suburban home in Minneapolis. That is where the Rainforest Cafe got its start. Rainforest Cafe is a jungle-themed restaurant chain with animatronic wildlife, waterfalls, and tropical foliage, providing visitors with an immersive rainforest experience. The development for this restaurant began way back in 1989, and it came from the mind of founder Steven Schussler. Now, Steven actually was inspired by the themed entertainment environments at Walt Disney World, which has so many themed dining experiences that we literally could talk about for hours. But that's interesting to me because Rainforest Cafe is currently the only restaurant company in the world to have opened up in every Disney theme park. Steven Schussler, he started developing this concept of the Rainforest Cafe in his home in Minneapolis. Like, he redecorated the inside of his home with tropical birds, vegetation, aquariums, and retail products to really illustrate a working prototype of it. To do this, he basically sold everything he owned. He had artificial waterfalls that he made, animatronics with real animals, yes, seriously, real animals, including parrots, a baboon, and tortoises. He also had a greenhouse on the roof with live butterflies and speakers blasting rainforest sound effects. He apparently had to use 3,700 extension cords to power the 20 different sound systems, lights, and fog pumps for this prototype. And if you're like me hearing that and wondering, how expensive was his electric bill? Well, he told Fortune that during development in 1994, his $2,000 electric bill was the highest for any residence in the state of Minnesota. The Drug Enforcement Agency even showed up at his home because people thought he was pursuing illegal activity or growing marijuana. That's insane. Now, he kept working for 3 years, spending over $400,000 to develop everything, and eventually he showed off the house to many investors, and he even had to file for bankruptcy before Lowell Berman came along and funded $1.2 million into the concept of the Rainforest Cafe. So the first Rainforest Cafe, it opened up in the Mall of America in Minneapolis, which can I just say that's a genius place to open it there because it's just such a huge tourist spot. Like it was in the largest mall in America. So yeah, they opened Rainforest Cafe there with live animals and all in 1993, and it very quickly gained popularity. I mean, the wait time after a week of it being open was 3 hours long. So, obviously, with this success, a ton of Rainforest Cafe locations started popping up all over the country, including one in Disney's Animal Kingdom in 1998. And each one of these locations that were starting to open up, they were making around $8 million annually, which was more than any other restaurant was making per location. Q Landry's, the big company I was talking about earlier, they decided to buy the Rainforest Cafe in 2000, but a lot changed when they did. So, as I mentioned, the Rainforest Cafe used to have live animals. This is something I never got to experience because after Landry's purchased the company in 2000, they got rid of all of the live birds because they were too expensive to upkeep with trainers and everything, being $100,000 per year per location. And then they also changed some of the rainforest look and menu items. Now, fun fact though, downtown Disney in Anaheim, California, they're the only rainforest cafe standing in the world that still has live animals. They have live parrots on display there. Every location of the Rainforest Cafe does feature a variety of animatronic animals, though. They also have this thing where every 15 to 20 minutes there's a simulated thunderstorm complete with lighting and sound effects, and the animatronics really come alive. Some key structural elements of every Rainforest Cafe include waterfalls, a ceiling designed to look like the night sky, lots and lots of artificial foliage and plants, fake butterflies and snakes hanging off the walls, and fog. It's just so immersive. There's also a wishing pond at the front of each restaurant with an animatronic crocodile inside, and kids love to throw like coins and stuff inside and make a wish at that fountain. Different Rainforest Cafe locations also have their own different unique elements. Like the one in Orlando, Florida, they feature a volcanic eruption that you can actually see from the outside of the building. And then also in Galveston, Texas, they have a rainforest dark ride called Rainforest Cafe River Adventure. That's seriously so cool to have like a full ride inside of the restaurant. I need to experience that. Beyond the immersion of the Rainforest Cafe, they have merchandise and gift shops in many of the locations to sell products featuring the animated characters associated with the brand, like Cha Cha, the red-eyed tree frog. They also have a talking tree named Tracy there in the gift shops. The food itself, though, it's pretty much classic American food with specialty titles or added ingredients to match the restaurant's theme. Despite being primarily a family oriented restaurant, Rainforest Cafe also features a tiki style bar and drinks menu. So, the Rainforest Cafe has expanded and expanded over the years since its founding in 1993, having opened nearly 60 locations worldwide. And I have been to many, many locations in Virginia, Maryland, Nashville, Florida, but now only 21 of these locations still stand, one being that Disney Springs location that I mentioned in Orlando. This is partially due to losing money during the 2009 recession and then also the COVID-19 pandemic. While the Rainforest Cafe is not at its prime anymore, the cafe still serves as a place of nostalgia and fun memories for many, and it's still an awesome place to check out if you're on vacation and looking for somewhere unique to eat. I'll speak my truth though. As a kid, I was scared of Rainforest Cafe, specifically the part where everything would come alive, like the thunderstorm section, it creeped me out so bad. It kind of disturbed my dining experience. Like, it's like, oh, look at how cute everything is in here. And then all of the like lighting effects. And I'm like, I want to go home. But now I just love it so much. I love that it's different, it's fun and unique. And I feel like having the option to go to a themed restaurant every once in a while, that's just something that we all need. Now, really quickly, Rainforest Cafe has a prehistoric sister, T Rex Cafe, which was also created by Steven Schussler and opened its first location in Kansas City back in 2006. It's basically Rainforest Cafe, but instead of tropical animals, think dinosaurs. There's a huge T Rex animatronic, and I mean huge animatronic, that's right there when you walk in at the door. And then they also have smaller dino animatronics and aquariums. It's real cute in there. I found a press release from when the Kansas City restaurant first opened, and just listen. They say, T Rex is not just a place to visit, it's a place to explore. T Rex greets visitors with a skeletal version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex outside and an animatronic version just inside the front door. However, these T Rexes have competition, including a 125-foot long replica of the Argentinosaurus. I don't know how to say that. Argentinosaurus, which is not only the largest dinosaur, but quite possibly also the largest and heaviest animal to ever walk the earth. In addition, when guests enter T Rex, they'll be greeted by a giant animatronic octopus sitting on top of the shark bar, motioning guests in for a specialty drink and a view of a 5,000-gallon shark tank. Lava rock, greenery, and lighting effects combine to transport visitors into a long time ago. The restaurant is divided into several separate distinctive dining rooms, each with its own theme and animatronic dinosaurs. The Ice Age room, for example, resurrects the woolly mammoth, complete with baby and machine-made snow. The Sequoia room is the home of a triceratops and its infant, along with a 2,000-gallon fish tank. Other exciting areas include the Shark room, Fern Forest room, Geotech room, Aqua room, and an outside deck for dining. Doesn't that sound amazing? It's very loud though. There's meteors and volcano sound effects, and similar to Rainforest Cafe, every 15 minutes or so, the entire room goes through like extinction. Thinking about it, I just don't really know what it's supposed to be, but it's like a lot of booming, a lot of flickering lights, animatronics going crazy, so it may be creepy for younger kids. Personally, I loved T Rex more than I did Rainforest Cafe as a child because they had super fun activities. Like they had a Build-A-Bear inside the restaurant called Build-A-Dino. And then they had like these pits that you could play in and you could brush away the rocks to find fossils. And they also had a T Rex gift shop where you could buy cute jewelry and like colorful rocks. I don't know, I just used to love that. There have also only been two locations for T Rex Cafe. They didn't really expand like the Rainforest did. And I've actually been to both locations. The one in Kansas City did unfortunately close. The Disney Springs one is actually the last one standing. I just think themed restaurants should be more of a prime pillar of American culture. Like, we need to have more of them everywhere. That's all. That's all for today. Have you been to T Rex Cafe or Rainforest Cafe? I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are your experiences there? It seems like most of the reviews these days are that the experiences there are cool, but the food, not so much. But for me, I'm a girl who could be satisfied with plain chicken tenders and fries. So that's why I didn't even focus so much about the menus at these places in today's episode, because for me, it's not about the food. Like, yes, I know these are restaurants, but the appeal is animatronic dinosaurs or jungle creatures and eating next to an aquarium. So I'm not too worried about the food as long as it's edible. I want to go for a fun time. Keep listening to Fan Fave for recaps and breakdowns of the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and more with commentary from fans. As Fan Fave is a bi-weekly podcast, you can expect new episodes every other Tuesday when I'll dive into a different aspect of pop culture. You can also stay in touch and join the Fan Fave community on social media, where I'll be posting additional video content and vlogs from my many adventures and events that I attend in the entertainment world. That's at Fan Fave Media everywhere. So connect with me because I want to interact and hear from all of you, my fellow fans of pop culture. Thanks for listening and see you soon.